Okay, so E3 is nearly 1 week away, and so seeing as Nintendo are appearing at this year's E3, it's safe to assume that an E3 Nintendo Direct will be released. Now, I've already made a video about my predictions for Nintendo's E3, but I am really excited for E3, and so I want to make another video about the topic. And since I made that video, my predictions have changed. So in this video, I'm going to be predicting Nintendo's E3, or more specifically, I'll be predicting Nintendo's E3 Direct. Alright, so to make sure that my predictions for Nintendo's 2021 E3 Direct are as accurate as possible, I went over the Nintendo Direct that was released at E3 in 2019. In the E3 Direct from 2019, there were 7 major first-party announcements, with those in order being Heroes Reveal as a DLC fighter, more Luigi's Mansion free gameplay, additional information on Link's Awakening, a closer look at Pokémon Sword and Shield, a lengthy look at Animal Crossing New Horizons, Banjo and Kazooie's reveal as a DLC fighter, and the reveal trailer for the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So I reckon that the upcoming Nintendo Directs will be formatted in a similar way to 2019's E3 Direct. With that being said, I reckon that the Direct will open with a DLC fighter reveal for Smash Ultimate. Not only did 2019's E3 Direct start with a DLC fighter reveal, but the last Direct also started with a DLC fighter reveal. So I just feel like this Direct will also open with the reveal of a DLC fighter. Now, it's basically impossible to predict who the DLC fighter will be, as there are hundreds, if not thousands of characters that could make Ultimate's roster. But I personally think that this DLC fighter will be Master Chief from the Halo series. I've already made a video talking about why I think there's a good chance that Master Chief will be the next DLC fighter, so you can go watch that video if you want, but to summarize that video, even though he is a violent character, there are just a bunch of different reasons that point towards him being a likely candidate for Smash Ultimate's roster. At the very end of 2020, I made a video talking about an article in which Kirby developers said that 2021 would be a huge year for the Kirby franchise. And so far in 2021, there have been 0 announcements to do with the Kirby franchise. So there is a 100% chance that we will get a Kirby game announced at E3 in the E3 Direct. Also, having a Kirby game be the second announcement of the Direct right after a Smash DLC fighter is revealed would be a really good way to just grab everyone's attention at the start of the Direct to make sure that people are inclined to stick around for the entire of the 45-minute Direct. Recently, a new Kirby art book arrived in Japan, and in that book there is a message from Shinya Kumazaki, who is the current director of the Kirby series. And in that message he talks about how the next Kirby game will be the next phase of the Kirby franchise. And so that statement along with some leaks lead me to believe that the Kirby game revealed at E3 will be a mainline 3D game. After the 3D Kirby game is revealed, I reckon that there will be a few filler announcements, but at around the 15-minute mark, we're going to get some more information on The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD. A lot of this game has already been revealed in trailers, so I reckon we might just get a short little trailer that maybe shows off some of the game's story, as we haven't seen any of it yet in trailers. This trailer would basically just serve as a reminder that Skyward Sword HD is coming to the Switch, and along with that, I reckon we'll see a bit of Skyward Sword HD shown off in the Nintendo Treehouse livestreams. Seeing as Pokemon Dazzling Diamond and Pretty Pearl, or whatever the fuck they're called, are releasing on the 19th of November, and we haven't seen much information on them yet, I reckon we'll get a chunky 5 or so minute long trailer about these two games. I'd expect the trailer to give us information about the region in which these games take place in, the starters, and the story, as that's what every trailer for Pokemon games always show. But personally, I would love for the trailer to go into detail about why the art style looks so fucking bad. As in my own humble opinion, the graphical style of Diamond and Pearl on the DS looks 10 times better than whatever the fuck this is. On a side note, the visuals of the more recent mainline Pokemon games have just been horrible. Like when new Pokemon Snap looks like this and the Diamond and Pearl remakes are looking like this, something is wrong. But anyways, moving on. In Nintendo's E3 2019 Direct, the Direct closed off with 2 banger announcements, with those being the announcement of Banjo and Kazooie as a DLC fighter, and the announcement of a sequel to Breath of the Wild. So I reckon that this year's Nintendo E3 Directs will also close off with 2 huge announcements. One of those announcements will be a gameplay trailer for Breath of the Wild 2, or whatever the actual name of the game ends up being. Seeing as Breath of the Wild was first announced to be getting a sequel at E3 in 2019, it would just be fitting to get a trailer for the game 2 years later. Also, right before Skyward Sword HD was revealed, Eiji Aonuma said that more information for the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was planned for later in the year. And what better place than to reveal a gameplay trailer for Breath of the Wild 2 than E3, as this is when everyone has their eyes on Nintendo. And finally, I reckon that the Direct will close off with a trailer for Metroid Prime 4. It's just been so long since we were told that development on Metroid Prime 4 had been restarted, and it's been even longer since the game was first revealed. So I reckon it's just about time for Nintendo to finally give us some sort of information on Metroid Prime 4. Whether that be a release date, some gameplay, or even just an update on development progress. Ending the Direct off with Metroid Prime 4 would just be perfect. And while there aren't any leaks or rumors of us getting an update on Metroid Prime 4, something in my gut is telling me that we're going to get something to do with Metroid Prime 4 in the upcoming Direct. And those are my final predictions for what we will see in the Nintendo Direct at this year's E3. So tell me in the comments what you think is going to be announced in the upcoming E3 Direct. While you're at it, why not leave a like on the video, and if you could subscribe, that would just be amazing. And yeah, thank you for watching.